So, the Premier League is back and Arsenal have Stoke City on Sunday afternoon. So, I will be dropping my preview of that game on Friday evening. Make sure to have notifications turned on for that one and be sure to keep an eye out for the video. Now, obviously the Premier League's back like I've just said, and so is Alexander Lacazette. He has been back in training, he has been doing full routines, and he is coming back into the squad for this game. Now, I think it's a game too soon. I don't think he's going to start the game. It'd be nice if he came on for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, half hour at the end of the game, just to get his fitness back up. Obviously, he has been out for quite a while now. It's got to be, what, 5-6 weeks now? But he could be the key component we need if we're going to go on and win the Europa League. So, yeah, it's nice to have him back. Now, it'd also be nice to have him up front with Aubameyang. Them two striking up a partnership could be deadly for next season. Obviously, this season's a write-off now other than Europa League, which Aubameyang can't play in. Which leads me on to the new rules that have come out for next season. Now, obviously, every Arsenal fan knows that Aubameyang is cup-tied for the Europa League this season because Borussia Dortmund, his previous club, qualified for Champions League. They got knocked out in the group stage, finished third, ended up in the Europa League. Now, from the minute they went into the Europa League, they then sold Aubameyang to us. He actually never kicked a ball for them in the Europa League, but because we were both in the same competition at the same time, that meant Aubameyang was cup-tied, so he couldn't play for us. Now, as of next season, that completely changes. That could cause mayhem in the January transfer window with players' prices going up even higher, I could imagine. So yeah, but overall, I'm quite happy with that because, listen, if we want to go and qualify for these competitions and we want to go and buy players that have played in them competitions, it opens up a whole new chapter of players that can then come and play for Arsenal. It also means that some of these other clubs could be looking at our players. So, got to be careful with it. It's a shame it's not going to happen this season because it would have been fantastic to have seen Aubameyang in the Europa League with Lacazette as well, I mentioned previously. Now, another player who's back is Aaron Ramsey. Now, I've seen a lot of stories floating about his contract recently and is he going to sign, isn't he going to sign? He wants X amount, he wants this, he wants that. Now listen, Aaron Ramsey this season has been pretty decent, to be fair. I don't rate him as highly as a lot of other people do, but I do think he has been decent this season. Now, one thing I will say about Ramsey is a lot of people compare him to Jack Wilshere. A lot of people say that, you know, he scores more goals than Jack, he creates more goals than Jack, he's worth more money than Jack, he's not as injured as Jack, etc., etc. Now, I'm sure everyone knows, but for those that don't, Jack Wilshere has actually played more games, Premier League games, in the last 2 seasons than Aaron Ramsey. He's played 4 Premier League games more than Ramsey. Now, in all competitions, Wilshere's played 10 games more than Ramsey in the same time period. So, that leads me to believe that Aaron Ramsey is more injured than Jack Wilshere. Because let's have it right. Jack could have played even more Premier League games at the start of this season, but he wasn't being picked by Arsene Wenger, and he was just being used in the Europa League and the League Cup. Now, I'm glad Aaron Ramsey's back. Like I said, I think he's been very decent this season. He's chipping in with goals, yeah, great. But he has at times been an absolute liability. Now, maybe that's where the stumbling block is with his contract. Maybe Arsenal are looking at it saying, well, look, you're not the elite tier of wage demands and wage structure, so this is what we're going to offer you, and it's the next tier down, for example. Maybe that's going to be the stumbling block, and maybe Ramsey will leave the football club. But I hope he doesn't, and I hope he stays, and I hope that he carries on, because, listen, let's be right. He's scored 2 winning final goals that have lifted us 2 FA Cups. Now, that's not bad, let's be real. Yes, he hasn't lived up to the dizzy heights of a few years ago where he's smacking in goals left, right and centre for half a season. But he is a very good footballer. and it'd be nice to see him under a different manager at Arsenal. And on Jack Wilshere, obviously he pulled out of the England games. The first game he didn't fly to Holland, he didn't go to that game. And then later in the week it was announced that he wasn't actually going to play at all against Italy, so completely pulled out the squad. Now, like I said, a lot of people think Jack Wilshere is always injured. This season and last season, he's rarely been injured. And like I said, less injured than Aaron Ramsey, who seems to be injured every other couple of games now. But this is another player that has only got a few months left on his contract, and that's really worrying. You know, like I said in a previous video, we should offer him a decent wage, regardless of his previous injuries from 8, 9, 10 years ago, whatever it may be. Let's offer him a contract. Let's make him captain of Arsenal Football Club, because for me, he is one of the few at Arsenal that actually genuinely gets what it takes to play for the club and what it means for people like me and you and everybody else who supports Arsenal. He actually genuinely gets it as an Arsenal fan. But I will say, I can understand why we're not paying him 150, 160 grand a week. I fully get that. But to have it on a pay-as-you play an X amount of games and you get a bonus or whatever it is that we're offering him, I think that's a bit of a piss take. Listen, neither of them two, Ramsey or Jack, are in the stratosphere of 300 grand a week salaries. Neither of them two can command that because they're not good enough, consistent enough over a full season. But they are decent players for the club, and I'd like to see them both under a new manager. And with that being said, offering them both 100, 120 grand, 130 grand a week, for me, I'm more than happy for that, because let's be real, we paid Theo Walcott £140,000 a week for too long, way too long. And I think both of these players are better than him. So, yeah, like I said, Jack pulled out of the England squad, but I do think he will be in the squad for the game at the weekend. I don't think he is going to play, because I think that we're going to save him. We're going to put him in towards the Europa League. Obviously, that's our priority now. And I think it should be as well. We've got, what, 7, 8 games left of the Premier League. And I think that we should just throw a few squad players in there. Throw your Mertesackers in there. Mertesacker needs to go and earn his wages, because what's he paid for? He's literally just sitting around being a cheerleader on, what, 80 grand a week? 70 grand a week? So why not start him? Why not start Rob Holding at the weekend? You know, why not start Maitland-Niles at the weekend? You know, start putting some of these squad players in for the league games, saving the better players, shall we say, for the Europa League. Yes, you can throw them in for half hour, 20 minutes, whatever it may be in the Premier League games. But if we want to go out and we want to win this Europa League, I think we need our best 11, maybe our best 14, 15, if we have a best 14 or 15. We need them fighting fit and raring to go for the Europa League, not being risked against the likes of Stoke City and against the likes of West Ham and Southampton, teams that are fighting for their lives, that are going to try and do absolutely everything in their power to you know, get a one-up on you. And that's no disrespect to them teams, but we all know what Stoke are like. They're very physical and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, I'm going to be doing my preview for the Stoke game on Friday. Go and check out my review of the England game as well from last night. I was in a box last night, so big up to the guy who put us in that. That was a nice little treat. And it was actually nice to watch an England game in hospitality. You know, the last England game I went to was years ago against Brazil, I think. I can't even remember like what the score was or anything. But yeah, it was actually nice to have a little bit of hospitality last night. I fully enjoyed myself, and big up to everyone I met last night as well. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll be looking to try and get on some of that hospitality life again. I am all over that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget, like, comment, share the video, and don't forget to follow my Instagram and my Twitter, LeeGunner82. Until Friday, I'm out of here. Laters, peeps.